Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of Practical IT. In this video we're talking about Secure It, the theme for week 2 of National Cybersecurity Awareness Month 2019. In this video we'll be covering the topics of secure passwords and multi-factor authentication. It's a bit of a mouthful. These are terms you may have heard before, but you may not understand completely what impact they can have on you. So to kick off, what makes a strong password? Well, when most people think of strong passwords today, they think of the rules imposed upon them in a working environment. They usually go something like this. Your password has to be at least 12 characters in length. It also needs to contain 3 out of the 4 of the following: uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Oh, and just for good measure, you shouldn't use a dictionary word or duplicate any of your last 3 passwords. Also, don't reuse your password on any other site or application. Every password should be unique. That's quite a lot to remember, and most people try to find a way to cheat. One of the cheats people commonly use is to just add a number or an abbreviation for a month to the end of an old password. One broadly recommended way to avoid reusing passwords is to have strong passwords generated for you by a password manager. There are several on the market. Many of them are free. The one most people immediately think of is LastPass. While LastPass has had a few ups and downs, it has been good about addressing security concerns as they have been discovered. If you want a completely free password manager, you may look into alternatives such as KeePass, KeePassX, KeePassXC, Bitwarden, 1Password, and Dashlane, among others. For the uninitiated, a password manager does exactly what you'd think. It generates and stores passwords for you so you don't have to remember or write them down. By itself, that represents a vast improvement to how most people approach login credentials for various websites. Just for the sake of argument, I've brought up the websites of several of the password managers. LastPass is here. They have personal and business plans, and their pricing is quite reasonable. For one user, you can use it for free. $3 a month for the premium, and if you have a family up to 6 users, $4 a month. KeePass. This is open source. It's completely free. It is a little old looking, but as you can see, it is still getting updates. Last update was on September the 10th of this year. And as far as the platforms that it supports, it is available for Windows in the 32 and 64-bit versions, I believe. This one is available for macOS and Windows, which is great if you're bouncing between the 2 platforms. There's a third variant, KeePassXC. This is the cross-platform version. So not only is it available for Windows and macOS, it is also available for Linux. And you can get that in your native packages as well as in app images or a snap version. And Bitwarden is another free to use password manager. This is available on Windows, macOS, and Linux on the desktop. It's available in all your major web browsers. And it's available for mobile on iOS and Android. It also has command line tools. So that's a nice little perk. 1Password has a nice looking website. And again, for personal and family, you can actually pay for this one. I was under the impression there was a free version, but I may be wrong. And finally, Dashlane does have a free version for up to 50 passwords. The next step up is $5 a month, basically, and it's billed annually, so $60 a year. All right, let's move back to moving on to multi-factor authentication. When you talk to someone outside the IT field about multi-factor authentication, the first and easiest example to give is when your financial institution or favorite social media site give you a message that they want you to verify your identity. Many times this will come after you've had a browser update go through, or if you access a site through a public computer, different operating system, or device. Normally, they will send an email or text message with a code in it that you then have to type into the login screen in order to complete the login. Multi-factor authentication can go further than this. In short, multi-factor authentication refers to having to enter a combination of something you have, like a password, token, or randomly generated number from an app, and something you are, which generally refers to things like biometrics, which would be fingerprint and retina scans. So just to expand on the token idea a little bit, one of the most popular security tokens are YubiKeys, which come from a company called Yubico. They offer several variations of their tokens, and you can get a single token for less than $50 depending on the model and features. Many popular services and sites support YubiKeys, including Gmail, LastPass, Instagram, Dropbox, 1Password, Outlook, Twitter, and Google Drive, and there are many others. They are also supported for Mac and Windows login, and with a little extra work, you can do the same on some Linux distributions. So the burning question now is, why would you go through the extra hassle of using multi-factor authentication? Well, simply because it's more secure. Even if someone gets your password, if they don't have access to the app or your token, they're going to have a much harder time trying to log in to a site with your identity. When you pair multi-factor authentication with a password manager, you really have a winning combination. And just for the sake of argument, we are going to look at a couple of things. What you see on your screen now is a simple Amazon search for fingerprint scanner. On the first line of results, we've got one. It's a mini fingerprint reader for Windows for $27. If we scroll down a little bit, we will see some other reasonably priced models. Here's one for $24. There's one for $40, $23, and 5% off. I'm assuming if you've got Prime. And so there are various options you've got, depending on whether you've got a laptop or a desktop computer you want to outfit with a fingerprint reader. Now for a desktop, this is far more practical in reality than a laptop, but it may be something you want to consider in certain circumstances. Moving on to the Yubico website, they have a pretty slick find the right YubiKey wizard on their website. So, for instance, say you're an individual and you've got a new computer that has USB-C and you also have an iPhone. So you would want this model down here. You'd click next, and it's going to tell you right off that this is the proper model for you to get. If we start over, if you have an older computer that might just have USB-A, and maybe you've got an Android that has near field communication present, you can say yes. And then it asks about other one-time password authentication services. And it wouldn't be bad, especially if you're using a WordPress website. This also works with Nintendo accounts and other things, Reddit, Shopify. So we'll say yes to that. And it's going to tell you that the YubiKey 5 NFC is the option for you. We take a look at that. Now this is one of their new models. The YubiKey 5 NFC is $45. Now, with this in mind, I would recommend ordering a 2-pack minimum. One that you would keep with you, and one which is also going to get paired with your various accounts that you keep under lock and key in a safety deposit box, you know, in a safe in your home, somewhere that you'll be able to retrieve it if you lose the one that you carry with you every day. Another option, just for the sake of argument, is the Titan security key that is made and sold by Google, and it's very similar in operation. It is built in on the latest Pixel phones, but if we go to the Google store, you will see that you can get this for starting at $25. They've got a couple different models. If we go to buy, which I'm not going to do right now, but if we just look at what they're offering, we can see that their USB-C security key is $40. So for a newer computer that only has USB-C, USB-A with near field communication, $25. Bluetooth, NFC, and USB is $35. And then they've got a bundle for $50. So those are some of your options depending on what sort of purchase you're trying to make, whether it's for personal use or business. You may want to research other options out there. I know there are others. These are the ones I'm familiar with and I've recommended to most people. All right. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I thank you all for watching. If you found this video useful, please give a thumbs up, click the bell icon for notification, and consider leaving comments down below. Thank you once again for watching. Have a great day.